Welcome back to Sims Complete. I'm your host, Matt Sims, alongside the man himself, Double Sticks, Phil Sims. This is Sims Complete on the Believe Sports Network, brought to you by FanDuel. Big guy, we're almost getting to that week right before the Super Bowl. I'm getting pumped up. Every single day that draws near, there's a side of me that like forgot that football is still going on. And then there's another side of me that's like excited as hell for the Super Bowl. But, you know, it's that weird purgatory right now. And hey, we can't talk about the game too much. So we're going to have fun today. We're going to talk a little Giants, little off-season stuff. Then we're going to talk about some of the award season and, you know, who we think should get what award and maybe our own adjustments to what we think the award should look like in the future for the NFL because of certain positions being highlighted maybe more than others. But let's dive into our Giants conversation first. Todd Monken, hired by the Cleveland Browns to be their coach. And now for Coach Harbaugh, right? Kind of left in this. We thought it was a done deal. Harbaugh, Monken, ready to go, ready for Jackson Dart and all of that. And he pivoted the last second. Your thoughts and reaction to the Monken hire, big guy?
Well, you know, working for the Giants, following Giants, played for the Giants. I was very disappointed he got the Cleveland job. So I thought Todd Monken was going to be really the perfect fit for the offense, for the New York Giants, for John Harbaugh, because they've worked together already, and for Jackson Dart. And I think, you know, what he did, some of the stuff he did down in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson was going to carry over in a different way probably with Jackson Dart, but it still was there.
Right.
And because what really is depressing, Matt, is the fact that we're now going, what offensive coordinator is out there? Who can we get that's going to fit the organization, the head coach, and the quarterback?
Right.
It's a big concern if you're a Giant fan. Todd Monken. Let me say this: I thought he did a really good job down in Baltimore, but anytime they lost, of course, it was his fault. You know, they lose the first game of the year. Well, they got to run Derrick Henry more. Well, all right. I think they know what the hell they're doing. I
was one of those people.
I understand, but he's the scapegoat because of everything that goes on down in Baltimore. So
yeah,
that's what it is. But I think he's a really good offensive coordinator. He's had great experience, college, pros, and he's getting a little older. So this was probably his last chance to be a head coach.
Yeah,
and it sounds like quite a few people said, "No, we don't want that job." But for him, great defensive players, man, they're loaded on defense. I think the offensive line's better than people probably think. And the big question down there for him will be who will be the quarterback, and that'll determine what kind of offense he runs. But
yeah,
I think he'd have looked a lot better in giant blue, but that's just my opinion.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful color, right? And it accentuates every coach's eyes, you know, when they're on the sideline there. But, you know, the other thing, too, that's interesting. So, yeah, just where do the Giants pivot from here? Because, the list – unfortunately, is kind of get into that unknown, right?
Yeah, it is.
So I'm kind of curious if a guy like Grant Udinski's name kind of starts to pop up since he was on that lower level head coaching opportunity there in Jacksonville, right, to get an opportunity. And then guys like maybe even Cliff Kingsbury, right? Maybe he kind of comes around in this conversation and someone that could fit, right, what Jackson Dart's ability from the pocket with his athleticism, being a young coach. So there might be a few things there to look into. And then who knows, maybe Harbaugh looks into the college ranks for, you know, some rising star there on the offensive side, like a Charlie Weiss Jr., who really was probably the only one that came out of the Ole Miss situation other than Pete Golding, right, with a little bit more clout and respect in the college football sphere and just football in general. So any of those names interest you potentially for Coach Harbaugh?
Yeah, I Charlie Weiss Jr., is he ready to do this? Probably. I know he's very smart. His dad was very smart, and, you know, he's been coaching football, and he's had great success.
Yeah.
You know, with Lane Kiffin. I mean, I like his offense. You know,
he knows Jackson Dart really well. They have a personal relationship, so I don't know if that helps or hurts.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if they think all this is, well, I do think there's a chance he could be the hire in that job. When you talk about Jacksonville, Udinski, is that how you say his name? Udinski, yes.
Yes, sir.
Just think he's coming from an offense that would really fit John Harbaugh. Also, it would fit the quarterback.
Right.
And I like what they did this year. We saw Trevor Lawrence turn into what everybody thought he was going to be, and he played extremely well. And that would work with Jackson Dart, that
Yeah.
offense we saw down there,
Yeah.
and with John Harbaugh, of course.
And, do you like the thought too, right, for Jackson? Well, I would say this, right, for Jackson Dart, I just feel like it doesn't matter. He's a quarterback that can kind of fit into any type of offense, right, and be successful with it.
Yeah.
The other interesting name that I want to throw out there too is Mike LaFleur, right, who has been interviewed for different positions as well, for potential head coach candidacies as well, and kind of a next guy in line and waiting to be kind of that new young face in the offense side of the football. So that's Matt LaFleur's younger brother, Mike LaFleur, who recently, I think, just turned down the Arizona Cardinals job and was interviewing for that. So maybe that's another name, to go to New York with Jackson Dart and Coach Harbaugh, where, Coach LaFleur, right, gets an opportunity to be the OC there.
Yeah. Okay. I don't look at that and go, wow, that's the one that I want.
Okay.
He would be on the bottom of the list that we have just talked about. Cliff Kingsbury, he's had great success with Jaden Daniels that first year, and this past year was, a little tougher. But it would be interesting to see what he would do and how his offense would look if he did become the offensive coordinator. So,
yeah,
it's a tough call for the Giants. John Harbaugh is in the organization. It's a big hire.
It is.
Not quite the head coach, but it's damn close to it. Because what's amazing, Matt, and for the Giant fans out there, people out of nowhere going, the team look out for next year will be the Giants. And I'm going, wow.
Yeah.
So people on the outside on TV and, other league executives are like, and they're right. A lot of pieces there to give you a chance to have success.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of it. It's been a long time since I've heard that kind of talk about the Giants.
Yeah.
And I think as this goes and the off season's over and all that, man, it's probably going to be very high expectations for the football team, much higher than I would probably think or even want to say.
Yeah, right.
So,
and it's interesting that you bring that up, because maybe it is people looking around the league and seeing what Vrabel has done, like McDonald has done in a very short period of time, and thinking that, Harbaugh is absolutely more than capable of doing that. I would say that in the Vrabel's case, right, he has a surefire offensive coordinator right there for his quarterback, right, to help him in that development process and building his confidence. Because if there's one thing that you could say about Drake May, and, maybe his play hasn't been all that great in the playoffs, but hey, they're winning. Yeah. But he's not lacking confidence, and a lot of that confidence and that inner belief, despite some of these bumps in the road that he's hit, come from the coaching staff, come from leadership, right, and instilling that constantly in him, just like, hey, it's all good, let's keep working, let's keep getting better, and all that. So definitely something to keep an eye out for.
The New York Giants. Boy, I'm sorry, that is it with Drake May. The way he's treated by the coaches, and that communication and the trust. And they treat him like they're treating him like a second-year quarterback. Yeah. In other words, he's still finding his way, getting, the playoffs, like you said, they've been tough. They've had 3 tough games on the offensive side in the playoffs, and a little unlucky. I mean, he played you're so excited to be in a playoff game, and let's see, rain, snow. I mean, boy, the elements have not been in the favor of the quarterbacks. So we'll see. But the Giants, I hope we'll know soon what's going to happen on the offensive coordinator side, and we'll go from there.
I like how you added like 2 H's there with the snow. It reminded me of Tony Sparano Sr., who, would go into the offensive meeting rooms in New York when I was there my first year in the NFL, and he'd be like, hey, and with his sunglasses, the room's dark, we're watching film, still sunglasses on, right? and he'd just say, hey, Sims, can't snow the snowman, okay? All right. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? But
that's funny.
Senior was the man. Junior was the man as well. Still is the man. And awesome football family right there. All right, big guy.
Yeah, let's get it.
Hey, said hut. Okay, let's change gears now. Bill Belichick.
Right.
Your boy, our boy.
Right. Yes.
All right. Not in the first ballot of Hall of Fame voting. What do you think? What's your reaction to that when you see that come across?
I was in the car driving for hours yesterday, so I heard a lot of people talking about it, and boy, it was fire the whole time.
Yeah.
And the reasons why, Spygate, that could be, okay, I'll say this. Spygate could have been a issue maybe, but not for as many people that did vote for him.
Right.
So there's more to it. Well, I don't know. One day somebody will crack and tell us the story behind all this. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's disgusting. I think it's a black mark for the Hall of Fame, big time. For the committee, it's big. I don't care how you look at it, and everybody has said all this already. Bill Belichick, Spygate, I don't care. Deflategate, he had nothing to do with it. But as Tom Brady said, the greatest coach there ever was. And I like Belichick's comment. He goes, I guess 6 Super Bowls just wasn't enough. And,
but he's got 8. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, he has 2. He has 2.
He's got 8.
He's got 8.
Right.
But it's I don't know what else to say except that. It's very disappointing. And I understand some of the things that these people yell at, but that still wouldn't, in my eyes, keep him out of the Hall of Fame. And so there's nothing else I can say. Everybody has said it 50 times already. And
that's all right. Those other 50 people who said it and brought it up weren't Phil Simms and didn't have direct relationships with this guy and saw him work, right? And was around someone that changed the way defense was played in the NFL and revolutionized it. And so yeah, like I think your opinion matters a lot. I'd rather listen to your 51st opinion, right, than the first 50 who, are just yelling loudly just so they can get clicks.
Okay. Well, him and I, we both went to the Giants the same year, 1979, and we had some interesting, battles in training camp, especially when I was a rookie. I'm sure he's going, Simms, he thought we drafted this stupid quarterback. Right. Bill.
Right.
And one day we ran a play, and, the defense was concocted to stop the play.
Right.
It's kind of like on the scout team or whatever. And we run it. I throw it for a touchdown. And he goes, run that again. Let's do it again. And so we do the play again. I get in the huddle. We break. I throw another touchdown. And he's looking at me. And in the third touchdown, he goes, all right, that was it. I threw 3 of them in a row.
Yeah.
And when literally he said, they're going to throw it to this guy.
Right.
That defense get the play. We had another guy, the D coordinator at the time was a guy named Ralph Hawkins, and we had like 40 different, defenses and secondary play and all that. So I remember that. And also, I've said this to you before, when times get a little tough, when they do, which they always do for quarterbacks, he was really interesting. He'd take a time out in his day or a few minutes and just say some things to you. And every day, every game at home, as we were coming off of warm-ups, going in the locker room, he would come to me. So what do you think? And I've told you this.
Yeah.
The wind, it's, this and that. And don't worry, Bill, that quarterback is scared. He won't even try to throw one of these balls down the field. He goes, yeah, I know. And he'll say something really derogatory about it.
Right.
We never, ever said, hey, look out. He's really good. He's going to go well today here. I would kill him and he would kill him as we would jog in the locker room. So I'll never forget those. Those were really funny.
Yeah, that is cool. And he also knew just the impact that, not only is his starting 11 on defense fantastic, but that 12th person, the weather, and of course the crowd on top of that in New York before global warming existed, right, was a huge thing. So it definitely made a huge impact. And also the crown too, which is another thing that like real Giants fans know. The crown at the field and how you could throw a 6-yard hitch over here to the right and you got to throw it like downhill potentially, so you don't overthrow him on the sideline. But
that was only a couple of years we had the crown and then they changed it. And Joe Theismann, that's all he talked about the week leading up to our games in Giant Stadium.
Yeah.
Well, that crown on the field.
Right.
And he was defeated before they blew the whistle.
That's right.
He was so psyched out about it. And when I see him, if we start talking about times playing against each other, he'll bring up the crown.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know how you threw that crown up,
Yeah.
So, there they are. Just throw it on a line drive. I don't know what to tell you. It's not that difficult. So, oh well.
So what are your thoughts though, too? I mean, so of course we're both just disgusted that Bill Belichick's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, because if he's not his first ballot Hall of Famer, then nobody is. And honestly, it kind of questions, like you mentioned, just the whole system in place in general and the people who are voting on it. And of course, the question comes up, is the voting skewed because of personal reasons and pettiness and biasness? And yeah, I mean, if Spygate was actually that detrimental, then they would have taken the Super Bowl away. Right. I mean, if Deflategate was that detrimental to the career and all that, they would have taken that away. So it's just, it's now I know that they, of course, were fined and all that, but I'm just saying, like, there was never an asterisk put next to their name, like when Roger Maris broke the home run record. Right. There was never that aspect of it where it was like, oh, that's, we don't talk about that. That really, changed the way, or the fabric of way we look at the rules and competing and all that.
Well, what it has done, I think it's in the long run might even help. It's helping Bill Belichick. All of a sudden, people have a different feeling about him instead of that grouse they saw on the sideline and some of the things you're talking about. I really do. Right. I think it's he's going to get a little more appreciation instead of everybody just having fun with him.
Yeah.
Because, he didn't win at the end of his career in the NFL, and what a year in North Carolina. And two, not only him getting in, it slows the process down for the coaches.
For everybody. Yeah.
We still got Mike Shanahan out there, 2 Super Bowl wins, and nobody ever talks about him. A guy that really created a new offense to the NFL.
The one that made John Elway a legend in a lot of ways.
John Elway got 2 Super Bowl wins.
Dan Reeves is another one, right? Of course, Tom Coughlin's another guy. So that's where, all 3 of those guys should be in the Hall of Fame, and, rightfully so, because they earned it, because they changed the game, right, from that aspect of it. And yeah, for Belichick, I mean, yeah, it's appalling, honestly. It really is. It's just so disappointing. And that's where it's just like, it's comical. That's where the NFL somewhat times is just like, are you serious about this business? Because it's like Belichick's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. And then we got Shedeur Sanders in the Pro Bowl. I mean, like, it's just like, what are we doing? What is going on? And that's where it gets a little interesting, and it gets a little frustrating, I think, for fans too. That just, we're taking away, right, what's been earned, right, and we're trying to just please, I feel like, at times, and it just losing sight of what it's about.
Well, let me just say this, the fact that some of the players that are in the Hall of Fame wanted to have a special place, and they say that they're diluting the product. Well, that's the great thing. It's a time to feel great about the NFL, the Hall of Fame, guys coming in. It's a lifelong dream. And so when I see guys get voted in finally after many years, and, you can tell. Yeah. It's just like it's going to give them a new shot in the arm for the rest of their life. Mm-hmm. And, so to kind of think we should separate people in the Hall of Fame, if they do that, then I'm done. Yeah. That's ridiculous. So it doesn't matter. We're not judging who the best guy is in the Hall of Fame and the worst guy. Are we going to do that? Well, this guy, I've said it.
Well, I mean, the people who say that too just miss the whole point of what the game's all about, right? And that just kind of shows their own egotistical nature, right, by that comment, and realizing that, you're also in the Hall of Fame because the 10 other people on the same side of the football as you did their opportunity and their job and gave you the opportunity and the space to do what you did to have that Hall of Fame career. And not to mention the coaches, the training staff, and, everything else that went into your ability to do your job on the field extremely well. So, with every team, there's a star. With every team, there's some workhorses, and hey, the Hall of Fame is another team in itself too. Right. Some of them, there's no doubt they got a few more badges, right, on their sleeve to be proud of. And other ones, damn, they worked their asses off to get there. Yeah. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to celebrate them all in the same place.
Yeah.
So, and that's something we got to keep in mind too here as well. So enough with that specialty shit. We also know too that just for Belichick not to be in the first ballot, petty by the people who voted, or just plain stupid, I don't know. Either way, it was a bad choice by them if they voted no in that one. And I would love it too if we did a little bit of a Hunger Games style too with the Pro Bowl voting, where get everybody up on a panel and I want to hear the names of the people who are up, and I want to see who says yay or nay right there live and on TV. When the NFL's looking for new ratings, I just gave you a new show. Make the Hall of Fame relevant again. Get the panel of writers up there, 1 through 50, and let me see who votes for who and when. And then, answer some questions about it. You can sit there and pick and prod of like, why didn't you go for it on 4th down here? Why didn't you do this? Well, why didn't you say Bill Belichick's a first ballot Hall of Famer? You know, I want to hear your explanation. I want to hear the exact reason why. And if you're over there going, Spygate, it's like, well,
yeah.
Because
Here we go. Here we go. I said this.
Good show, though. I like this idea. Yeah.
I said it. Yeah, it is. It's interesting. Of course, that's never going to happen.
No.
But, as one writer said to me about, I said, so writers vote on the Football Hall of Fame. And I said, I want to be a voter for the Writers Hall of Fame.
Right.
Oh, no, why? No. Well, why not? Well, you're voting for the NFL. Do you really know it that well?
Well, yeah, the readers are critics of the writers, right? So yeah, that makes sense, right? Yeah.
Well, I just think that's just to get a couple of my friends in the media, it really gets them going.
Yeah.
I'll stop it. They get pretty upset by it, but I'm just trying to prove a point. So.
Yeah, you are, and also too, I think it's just like take your job more seriously. I mean, let's be honest about it.
I think they
more
do.
Seriously, and I know they do. I know a lot of them do. I do. Yeah. I know some others that are out there. They're trying to get the story right, but it's not about like actually telling the story. It's about just the other aspects of it, right? But
yeah, well, listen, every year, no matter what, and I've learned from writers, and they pick there's a guy or two that they're really going to push.
Yeah,
try to get them in. So that and I understand that too. You need somebody in there. You got to have somebody in that voting group to really believe in you with deep conviction.
Yeah.
How to sell it to everybody there in the room. And I'm sure that's quite a meeting, to hear that, to be part of. So,
yeah. Well, if the NFL is looking for more ratings during this time of the year, which they always are.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want a little producer credit. That's all. Because it's a great idea. And I'd like to see it. I'd watch it. That's for sure.